Hello everyone, it's your lovely Lotus Blossom Lizzie, and today we're going to be doing a page in my brand new mixed media book, and it's a Dilutions book, and it's actually my first proper art journal, so I decided to do a page in here. So you can see that I took out lots of things that I might use, and before we get started, I always like to suggest that if these are the type of videos that you like, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification button so that you'll be notified when more videos like this one come out. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm putting down some Liquitex matte gesso, and I put a lot on the page, and I did that on purpose. So just hang in there with me and you're going to see how this lovely page is going to turn out. So I just took my brush and I put as much on that page as I could there. And I actually have my book over on the side that I'm kind of using as a use it up journal for now. And then I mush the pages together, and when I open it up, look at that beautiful texture that came out. Now I could have just let this sit here and dry, but you know me, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I always use my heat gun. Now when I first started doing this and I was shaking up the paint in the acrylic paints, I was thinking, why am I shaking this up? But then if you look on the page or on the side here where I have the little dabs of paint, you'll see that the paint is actually like breaking up. So it was good that I was shaking it up, but I didn't shake it up enough. And I didn't even know that you had to do that. So that was kind of like a rookie mistake, but it all worked out because I just kind of took my brush and swirled everything together. So the colors that I chose to use are red, black, and white. And I was going to finger kind of paint them on there, but I just got my nails done. Well, I just did my nails and I didn't really want to mess my hands up too bad. So I just used my brush and I mushed everything on, but I wasn't really getting the effect that I wanted. So I decided I was going to kind of remove some of that paint, and I used that towel paper, but I didn't like that effect either. So then I took a baby wipe and I tried to wipe things off, and I really felt like the white paint kind of did the takeover on the whole page, and that wasn't the effect that I wanted either. So I took some more red paint and I put the red paint over everything, and nothing is dry, so everything is kind of mixing together, which was okay. It was kind of my intention for it to kind of be all muddled together, but still I wanted the red to kind of be like the anchor color, so to speak, with the other colors coming from the back. And you can still see that texture on the page. That texture came out so amazing. I'll probably be using that technique quite often. So then I took out my heat gun and I kind of went over everything after I kind of pulled a little bit of that paint up using another baby wipe again, because I still wanted the colors from the back to kind of come out so you can see those. So once I use the heat gun, you can see that the shininess is gone, and which is fine. And then I decided to kind of look in my junk journal drawers where I kind of keep some bits and pieces of things that I would like to use. And I really wanted to use this picture that I had here of Lady Liberty. And I took out a coffee filter and a piece of paper that had already torn from a book. And I was just trying to, I was fiddling around trying to figure out how I was going to use these things because I really wanted to use them all. But sometimes when you're doing a project like this, it's not what you want. It's like what the pages want. They kind of dictate how you put things on the paper. It's like an unsaid energy. So if you've ever done any mixed media, you kind of know what I mean. So I kind of flowed with the energy, and I was still trying to use this coffee filter, and I didn't want to use the hard edges, and so I decided to rip it up, and I was just trying to use that paper, and I didn't, somehow I ended up not using it, but I was still trying to figure it out at this point. And then I was trying to figure out I was going to put my little collage experiment on the page. And I just set it aside for a few seconds. So then I took out my little doohickey that I made to use for blending, my homemade blending tool, and I took out some um, walnut Tim Holtz stain, or what do you call it? You all know what I mean. So I took that out, took some of the inks out, and I just inked up a few things to give it kind of that grungy kind of old world feel, and it came out real good too. Then I took out this stencil here. And this stencil is one that I sell over at Pleasant Creations on my Etsy shop. So you can check that out. The link is below. And I love this stencil because I was thinking I don't have any alphabets that I could use. I would really like to use alphabets with this texture paste. And I was thinking, oh, I have some of those stencils. Let me use one because, I have a set for myself as well. And I use them all the time. And so I was able to pull this out because before I was going to use a stamp with some lettering on it, but it didn't really have the type of lettering that I wanted. But this was actually perfect. I love how it came out, and I love that texture paste. And so I did hit it with the heat gun and made sure everything was dry. And then I took out this honeycombed patterned ink, not ink, but stamp. And I didn't use a block with this because I really wanted it to be imperfect. And that's the great thing about doing mixed media projects. Everything, it seems like the imperfections are really what makes it unique and just so nice and easy to work with. And, there's no pressure. There's no pressure to be perfect. Just like with that stencil with the letters, you can see that there's many imperfections there when it comes to putting the letters on, and it's just what I wanted. So now I decided I'm just going to use this little piece of book page and then also that picture because I definitely wanted to use that picture, and I tossed everything else to the side. So I took out a few ink pens, and so first with my Sharpie I wanted to do just a little bit of a test, and I went around the white letters because I wanted to see if I was going to be happy with it. So I did it down in the corner first, and I just outlined that texture paste, and I liked the way it looked. Now, of course, it took me a little while to do it, so I didn't want to kind of hold you all hostage here to watch me go around everything. But you can see how just outlining the letters really made everything kind of pop on the page. So the next thing I did, I took out my white Uniball pen, and I am journaling. I decided to do a bit of journaling, even though this is kind of my art journal book, because I wanted that journaling to be part of the design itself. And so you can see how that white actually, it actually looks like it is part of the background and not anything in particular. Now, I didn't use any kind of scripty font or anything like that. Unfortunately, I don't know how to do those, and they look so pretty. But I just used my normal messy handwriting, and I like the way it came out. And that's another thing. With the mixed media, my messy handwriting fits right in, don't you think? I love the way that it came out. And so what I'm writing about actually is that picture. So that picture was taken at a Red Robin restaurant, and my mom and my brothers and my kids, we all went there when we had dinner there one day, and I just had this picture kind of laying around. And of course they always have nice little props in the restaurants and everything, so I use it as a photo opportunity, and it drives my mother crazy. She hates it when I take pictures of inanimate objects, but me being me, I love it. I love using it as a photo op, and it always gives me inspiration when it comes to, decorating and doing my junk journal. And so as you can see, I had lots of inspiration because I was actually able to fill up both pages with that beautiful, messy background handwriting. And I also love using those Uniball pens. And I already know that I'm probably going to have to get some more pens very, very soon. So again, I was able to fill everything up, and I've begun putting the dates on my pages as to when I actually do them. Now, I did use the heat gun again just to make sure that everything was dry before I continued on so I wouldn't smear anything. And I took out my gold Uniball pen and I just kind of used it on a few of the letters, not all of them, just to make a few stand out. And then I also went around the Statue of Liberty picture with a gold pen as well, because, she's special. So I wanted to give her a little bit of a special touch for this. Now, I've noticed on other people's videos, when they do things, they don't really turn the book around. But you know what? It was just easier for me to do it this way. Because even though this is an ink pen, it's really essentially paint coming out of it, and it is kind of wet and it will smear. So I have to be careful as to how where I put my hands at. So I did have to turn it around. So next I took out my ink pad and I went around the edges of this, and this is permanent ink. It's the only black ink that I have, and I love using it, and that just kind of gave it a little bit of a frame. And I didn't put too much on it because there's a lot going on the pages already. And I also took this charcoal pencil out and I just kind of rubbed it a little bit more around the edges of select spots here. And I love the way that it came out. So I can actually say this is the first time again I'm using my Dilutions Creative Journal, and I love it. It's the first proper journal that I've ever had. So I want to know, do you have one of these journals, and are you using it? Because you should be if you're not. So with that, I'm going to say love, peace, and hair grease from your sweet lotus blossom and lovable Lizzie. Have a fantabulous day and enjoy life.